This is a time when many of us may be wondering a little bit, are we truly living our lives for ourselves and for that greatest vision that we've been called to become, or we're living our lives for the expectations of others? This is quite a deep question right now, because maybe you've been wondering your worth, and maybe you've been recognizing there's a lot to release because, well, something deep is pulling you forward. And, well, you're on an adventure, my friend. I want to talk today about the upcoming full moon coming up tomorrow in the zodiac sign of Leo. We have this fiery energy, and Leo is reminding you that you don't need to prove your worth. No, you don't need to prove your worth. You just need to live it. You just need to live your worth, and that's how your life will work out. So honor your authority. Honor your authority. This is the first thing you're recognizing right now. What does it mean? Well, you can follow your ego, you can follow your fears, you can follow your disbelief and feel small and protect yourself from the world's dangers and hide yourself in a comfort zone. Or you can embrace the pull of God or God's call or intuition, life's calling. This is your inner authority. Life speaks through you, but are you listening? Not every fire needs your fuel. This is a good reminder. There's many fires in the world, many things that, you could be angry about, right? Many things that may upset you. But now, not everything needs your fuel. You can pour it into something that's aligned with you. And that's what many of you are recognizing right now. So this is a time when many people are making big decisions. And usually it happens that like months ago, we come across certain ideas, certain like potential breakthroughs, something that will level up our lives, something that would level up our career, or something that would improve our relationship. But then we're like taking some time to find the courage to make the right decision. That's how we usually move. But to embrace your inner authority means, well, you're like a lion. You decide firmly. You know when there's intuitive pull. When there's intuitive pull, you know immediately what's right. Your fear is like, should I do it? Should I not do it? What will happen if I do it? And so on. Well, the difference between intuition and ego or fear is that when intuition calls you, you don't need to negotiate yourself to do it. You don't need to convince yourself to do it. You just know this is the thing. I have to do it. It's almost like a must. I have to do it. And when you start doing it, when you make that decision, you know it will improve your life. It will make you stronger, wiser, more courageous, more peaceful, more incredible. And you will also become a great example. If you don't do it, you will feel like you've kind of abandoned yourself. And then you experience a sense of guilt because you've betrayed yourself. Nothing wrong, you can always come back to you. Yes, you can always come back to you and do what you felt that is right. But I wanted to say that right now, well, many people may be at a point of their lives where they need to make a big decision. And big decision requires clarity. And clarity requires time, to have time for yourself, or to have some deep, profound conversations with people who can help you find clarity. There's a lot of external pressure right now, which means that on the other side, there's also a greater chance to meet very clear idea of what is right for you, because everything works in polarity where there's a lot of external pressure. There's also a very loud inner voice that tells you what is right. And the question is only, where are you? On which side are you? Are you on the side of chaos, or are you on a side of inner truth, and you are building up courage, building up resilience, building up sovereignty, building up independency, and doing what is right? Well, not an easy task. But this is a challenge for many people, because when it comes to doing what is right, it comes to understanding where we want to go, right? What is that vision of the future we're walking towards? And then knowing that living the same way we've been living until now will not take us there. So we need to make some sometimes scary decisions that will take us to where we know that we belong, right? So this is quite a big thing that is present right now, making a big decision. For some, it's a relationship. You're recognizing, well, in this relationship, all I know is suffering, maybe. Like, there's no love, there's no honesty, there's no truthfulness, there's only pain, many red flags, whatever. And big decision is to maybe let it go. Maybe it's in your career, like what you've been doing until now was good, but you are now craving something new. Many people may experience at this point that you've mastered the position to where you've come. And every time we master something, we know it's time to level up. It's time for the next step. And this is something that many of you may be feeling right now. So honor your inner authority, not outer authority. External world will tell you, well, many things, but your inner authority will only tell you what is right. Follow your inner authority. Either you call it God, you call it intuition, the voice of life, whatever you choose, but know it's real and it is guiding you. Then the second thing that comes with this full moon is, of course, self-expression. Many of you, and it's not a coincidence that I've seen so many people are starting YouTube channels. So many people here in the community are starting some new projects where they will be able to express themselves. Is that you, my friend? Is that you? Because something that maybe you've noticed that as well, I've noticed that on YouTube, it's a golden time for authenticity. There are young people coming up on YouTube, recording a video with the phone like this, nothing special, no editing, just sharing his or her thoughts, having millions of views, just sharing their thoughts. That's the power of authenticity. There's so many young people right now coming up on YouTube, just sharing their thoughts, sharing their feelings, having millions of views. It's a golden time for authenticity. And this is one pattern that shows where we are as the society. So you can embrace it, you can ride this wave, or you can hide in the shadow. So your voice is not meant to beg for space, it is meant to shape it. And once you understand what this means, you will only find out that, well, your fear is holding you back. And your fear is holding you from truth. Your fear is holding you from abundance. Your fear is holding you from adventure. Your fear is holding you from everything that awaits you. And I want to remind you right now that the only way to break the ice is to start knocking on it, right? With a hammer. The only way to start speaking up is to start speaking up. The only way to start expressing yourself is to keep yourself accountable and every single day show up. Like, you can decide every single day I will make a video for YouTube, and then show up, and you will notice, well, every single day you will not feel like it. Actually, most probably, most of the days you will not feel like it. But the trick is that you do it anyway, because, well, that's how your ego wants to keep you in a loop of being safe, because that's what it knows, and that's where it feels the most safe. But if you really want to level up, it means that you need to keep doing it. Keep doing it. So you meet that new version of yourself. You meet that lion of yourself. Maybe you're not a lion. Maybe you're more a gentle cat. I don't know. Or maybe you're a different type of an animal. I don't know. I don't care. But the point is that you recognize the only way to meet that new version of you is to keep introducing yourself to that new activity that will embrace something inside of you that in the past you've been neglecting. So there's a call to authenticity. Yes, this earth calls authenticity, which means, can you show up more as you truly are and less of the conditions scared you? The conditions scared you. Can you show up more as you truly are and less as the conditions scared you? There's nothing wrong about having fear, nothing wrong about having any kind of emotion. Well, one way to let it go is to start doing something new. Even though at the act of doing, you will still feel the old self, but at the finish line, when you will finish that work, you will notice a sense of feeling good about yourself because you've overcame yourself, and that is powerful. Many of you may be at a point where you will just feel this need. Maybe you also feel in your throat center during this time that it's time to practice speech. It's time to practice speech, because the best way to express your needs, to express your ideas, to express your knowledge and wisdom is to talk about it, right? And you have so much to say. I know you've been holding yourself back, but you have so much to say. Why would you hold yourself back, my friend? Maybe because of fear, maybe because you may be rejected, maybe because people don't support you or don't agree with you. Well, the only way to find the right people is to firstly face with those who don't resonate with you. So then you can notice, okay, it's time for me to move on in my life. These people will stay where they are, but you don't need to stay where they are, right? You can move on. You can move on. So embrace self-expression. The third thing is to ride the emotional wave. Don't drown in it. Powerful one. Ride in emotional wave. Well, every time we have a full moon, we feel more emotional, or we feel like whatever is inside of us, or whatever we've been going through, however our days were, we feel things more intensely. And sometimes we think that what we feel is the truth. But emotions are usually records of the past. It's the chemistry that was created by the thoughts of the past. Beliefs and all these unconscious stories we're telling to ourselves. So emotions are not always right. And therefore, you need to look at emotions as something that comes and goes, not something that should dictate your life, right? And one of the greatest skills, especially when we're talking about the Leo and this full moon, is that many of you right now are learning that actually your emotions are not your guides. And many of you are learning to build this discipline and a sense of a muscle that allows you to do what you've decided to do despite how you feel. Because let's think it this way. You design a life where you have a morning routine, where you set a tone for the day. And maybe in the middle of the day you have some self-checks to see how everything is going, and at the end of the day you have another routine where you let go of the day, or you reflect a little bit how well you've done, how much you've been really following your vision, and how much you've been really tapping into that new version of you and embodying what you want to become. If you have your day structured like that, well, then throughout the day, when you emotionally don't feel like doing it, you still have these moments in a day when you can meditate and tap deeper into why you felt this way. But don't allow like sometimes negative emotions to destroy your whole day. Have this type of windows in a day when you communicate with yourself, when you listen to yourself, but don't allow emotions to completely blur your vision and destroy your whole day. You can build a muscle to do what you decide to do despite how you feel. But it doesn't mean to ignore how you feel. Obviously, you feel the way you feel because of certain reasons, and you can always dive in, and if you meditate a little bit, notice what is going on in your life. But still, I'm seeing that in many people in my life, but also on social media. There's many of these viral posts where people are writing like, do it anyway despite how you feel, things like that. And it's actually something like, it's one of the most important skills we need to learn, and this is the Leo's energy. So maybe you're at the point where you're learning that, and this is kind of resilience. So the point is that you're not too emotionally sensitive, you're emotionally intelligent. And that is a big difference, because you can be aware of how you feel, but still you have your inner authority from which you decide what to do. And your body will adapt to that voice. Your body will adapt to your decisions eventually. That's how you shape yourself. This can be a very powerful practice. And the next thing, the fourth thing that I want to give you, is to allow change without resistance. So many of you during this time may be noticing that it's still hard to accept a change, and that's okay. It's completely okay. Like, the only way to learn to accept a change is to go through changing phases as frequently as possible. But, well, many times we don't do that, right? Many times we want to keep ourselves in the comfort. The thing is, you can't hold on to the past and open your hands to the future at the same time. Yes, of course. You can't hold on to the past and open your hands to the future at the same time. So you need to decide, will you walk towards that dream of yours, towards that vision, towards that call that God planted into your soul with open arms and trust and faith, knowing that things are working out because you are working out on them? Or will you still hold yourself tightly to ideas of how life should be, and because it is not how you would like it to be, you're in anger and sadness and frustration and wasting your time? It's another decision. Opening up to the unknown can be very scary, but only because we've created unknown a scary place in our imagination. In my life, I've learned that when I stop trying to make something happen, I make the best things. Because when I stop trying, I go back into the flow and I do more of what I feel inspired to do. And when we build a momentum of something, then inspiration takes us and rewards us with the right ideas to make that final product possible. Like, for example, when I'm making these daily videos, when I finish a video, I receive an idea for the next one, and that's how I'm doing this work. When I'm painting, many of you know I'm a painter, I'm an artist as well. When I finish a painting, I receive an idea for the next one. This is called the momentum. And you can only open a momentum when you allow changes to happen. When you allow yourself letting go of the past, despite what happened. Like you let go of relationships from the past. You let go of maybe a job from the past. You let go of projects, or maybe even a culture, or maybe even a career, and you start something new. Sometimes we have these life calls that we just feel a need to say yes to them. And when it happens, well, fully go for it. Fully go for it. Like I said before, when intuition calls you, you don't need to negotiate. You don't need to convince yourself, is it the right thing or not? When you get this idea, immediately you feel you have to do it. And I've heard so many stories from that. My story is the same. Like, I felt I need to do it. And actually, that call was repeating to me. Like at the time when I quitted my job, it was more than 1 year that this idea was repeating to me. I have to quit my job. I have to recognize what I really want to do with my life. So as this idea was repeating, I was able to save enough money. So then I was able to quit my job and go after that dream of mine. This happened back at 2017, and well, the best thing I ever done. So when there's intuition, and if that's really the right thing, it will be keep calling you, but not forever. At some point, will you say yes to it or no to it? Will you embrace yourself or will you betray yourself? Those are always two options. Choose the one that's maybe scarier but rewarding. This full moon will bring a lot of clarity around this thing. So yes, it's not scary because it's a fiery energy. It's a transformative energy right now. So why wouldn't you go deeper into it and recognize where your life is calling a transformation to be born? Where? In what area? Well, think about it. Maybe it may change your life. Maybe. And balance individuality and collective energy. This is big, and this will be the last thing for today. So balance individuality and collective energy. Be bold enough to stand apart, wise enough to stay connected. Be bold enough to stand apart, wise enough to stay connected. So what does it mean? Well, let's go to the beginning. You've been born in unity, right? You're a spark of God, born in unity. But there came a moment when you've decided, how would it feel to step out of this unity and experience my own individual self? Even though I will forever be connected, I want to feel how I feel. So that's when your soul was born and you went into this path of research, adventure, play, pain, joy, anger, frustration, all of that, creativity, sadness, all of this. You went onto an adventure. And then you've been through trial and error. But now, well, you're recognizing that it's time for maturity. And maturity it's quite of a big deal, because suddenly you're not just here to play around. You're here to really embrace all aspects of yourself, something that most probably I've been talking in so many of my videos until now. But it means that, many times when people go onto a spiritual journey, they go onto that journey because they want to experience more peace, which is obviously something that many of us crave. But if you study any spiritual culture, you recognize that peace is just one part of it. There's also a part of a warrior. There's also a part of a philosopher, a deep thinker. There's also a part of a magician, a mystic. And there's also a part of a loving being. And those are all different aspects of you. We all have these different archetypes inside of us. And the process of maturity is then integration of all these different aspects of us, which means we need to meet our own needs, right? So one thing about individuality is that you learn to meet your own needs. So you find peace within, but then you also find a way to feel strong, to release the animal. And then you find a way to train your mind to build knowledge so you can have a clear idea about, well, who you are and to make sense of the world. And then you also need to find a way to become more loving, more compassionate towards you, towards others. And as you start putting all of this together, you become quite firm individual being that recognizes, well, this life is quite an interesting story. And the journey of integrating all of this makes you so wise and interesting and skillful that you start to think, okay, it would be selfish to hold these skills for myself, to hold this knowledge and wisdom for myself. And that's when people step into a position of a leader, of a healer, of a teacher, of someone who starts to lead others as well or teach others as well. And this is the individual aspect of you. But then the collective aspect of this process that many of you may also feel right now is that you have a need, you have a desire to meet the needs of others, to give some of yourself to others. The point is only balance. Like when your cup is full, you can give something. When your cup is empty, you must give something to yourself. And once you learn to balance these things, you will be more in balance with the world. Once you're more in balance with the world, you will see more harmony in the world. And you will feel more harmonious towards it. And that is a big progress. And many people are right now in the process of learning to balance all of this. Because when I've started this journey, I wanted to give so much. I wanted to help others so much. I kind of wanted to fix everyone, and I've recognized it's quite exhausting. But when I have enough time for myself and doing what I'm passionate about, then I also fill myself up and I can be there for others. So also you need to recognize, as much as you know that you're connected to the world and everybody else, you also need to know how to disconnect psychologically and emotionally yourself from the world. And this is another theme that many of you are learning, like how to disconnect from the problems of others, from the pains of others, from the emotions of others, how to cut the cords, how to recognize, when you close your eyes and you just acknowledge yourself without having a need to be connected to others. Not all the time other people's problems should be your problems. Not all the time other people's opinions should be your opinions. Not all the time other people's emotions should be your emotions, right? This is all individuality. To recognize that, well, you must find a way to empty the cup that was filled by the world around you and then fill it up with aliveness, with life. And the only way to do it is to do what makes you feel alive. Because, well, think about it, how you feel when you do what makes you feel alive. You thrive, you're happy, you walk around and you, with a big smile on your face, you say hello to every stranger. You love to talk with others, you love to have social interactions, and you just can't wait when you can help someone, right? That's how we are when we feel alive. And many people on this planet right now lack aliveness because they haven't found a way to meet their own needs. So balancing individuality with collective energy is something right now that is very important. Be bold enough to stand apart, wise enough to stay connected. Yes, sometimes you have to be bold to say no to everything the world asks from you, so you can say yes to what your soul asks from you, right? Are you acting from your true self, or conditioning? Just ask yourself, are you acting from your true self or conditioning? And I will leave this message here with this question. Write the answer in the comments below and inspire someone to see that, well, we all are going through something, but we also are wise enough to know how to go through it, right? Yes, I will leave you here. I hope you found great value today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. I want to say big thanks to all of you for supporting my art with purchasing my art, prints of my art, or original paintings. You're supporting this channel, and for that I'm truly grateful to you. AttractPassion.com, you will find all of my art there, or the link in the description of this video. Also, thanks to all of you for joining our Patreon community for more exclusive content. We've just launched our first and new podcast series, so go and check it out. It's on Patreon, only on Patreon. It will not be available anywhere else. So check it out. The link is in the description. And thanks to all the new members joining the Attract Passion tribe on Patreon, where you are also supporting this channel so we can keep going. Thank you so much, and till next time, one love.